was two brothers who had one truck, two lawnmowers, and they wanted to start a lawn care business, cutting grass. They started with me 12 years ago, and they were spending $1,500 with me. They were embarrassed to even bring the number up. They didn't think that they could create enough value with $1,500 a month, 1,000. 12 years later, 10 trucks, 25 employees, $1 million plus business. They're doing 20K with me a month now.
This is Right Media Group Chronicles, your shortcut to sharper ideas, smarter moves, and creative breakthroughs. Let's roll.
Welcome to today's episode. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are Right Media Group and specialize in helping marketing agencies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your agency business to the next level, make sure to stick around. Our guest today is Seth Stell, founder of Good Brand. Seth, welcome to the show. I know you just flew back from Argentina yesterday. I'll try to go easy on you.
No problem. No problem. It's easy. Half of my team is down there. I'm probably down there at least twice a month. So it's like my second home at this point.
I see. So would you
Yeah.
mind to introduce yourself to the audience, please, Seth, and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Seth Stell, creator, founder, studio leader, and everything else no one wants to do at an agency that requires additional responsibilities. That's what happens when you're the leader and you're the builder of the company. I run a digital studio out of Mexico City, Colombia, Argentina, United States, Sri Lanka, and España, between Barcelona and Brazil. Excuse me, Madrid. Says 15 years plus experience, 10 to 15 years plus experience in the industry, Wyden, Kennedy, Goodby, RGA, Smashing Ideas, Frog, big brand stuff, Nike, Microsoft, Google, big brands, food and bev also as well. Did the 10 to 15, it was about 15 years. Yeah, 15 years in-house. Decided to want to build my own agency. I knew that one of the advantages that I would be able to provide was leveraging my study abroad program. When I was in college, I studied abroad in Colombia, Mexico City, Argentina, and Spain. And as you can
What did you
imagine,
study? Sorry.
marketing, digital design.
You did. Uh-huh.
Basically, I'm 40 now. And
Well, you don't
so
look like it.
yeah, I get that all the time. Yes. Um, that's also contributing to a healthy lifestyle. So I try to
Mm.
take care of myself. You know, this industry can be brutal if you're just focusing just on working every day and being behind a camera, but I try to get out. Today, I just ran 3.5 miles up in the mountains in Colombia just to get out every morning, and I retire on my evenings with being outside as well. I'd like to think that some of that youthfulness that I have is just balancing lifestyle. But yeah, I studied abroad, as you can imagine. During that time, a lot of journalism schools at universities were transitioning into this new thing called digital, right? So when I first went to university, it was basically journalism and marketing. I'm also a great writer, but I don't want to write for on behalf of people. But I really enjoyed marketing, brands, jingles. I remember as a kid, I used to watch commercials, and I would naturally remember all the jingles for all the different products. So my family, when I was a kid, say, "Seth, sing that commercial," and I'm like, "How does he sing?" So I've always naturally just got, like, my brother, he knows numbers. You could tell him like 96 times 357. Bam, he'll just rip the number out. My dad's an engineer, and so he got that from my dad. My mom plays 13 different instruments, and I'm a musician.
Wow.
So I got that side of my brain where, like, if I hear something once, I can recite it. And so I've always been more on a brand and marketing type of path. Well, during that time in 2003, journalism schools in the United States, at least that's where my experience was, and in my study abroad program, we're all trying to transition out of exclusively just being journalism because they knew this digital thing was happening. And this
Mm.
was, Facebook still had a .edu. So meaning you couldn't even create an account unless you had a .edu, because Facebook was originally a platform for college kids to meet and get to know each other. If you did not have a .edu, you had to go to MySpace. That was how it was.
Wow, MySpace, that takes me back.
So what's happening right now? Fun fact, I made $20 a person in my dormitory at university for MySpace because I knew how to customize MySpace pages and do the HTML. So
Wow. Okay. So from early on, I think we already clarified in our pre-chat that early on you started kind of with your family and with your uncle, I think it was.
yep, yep, helping out anybody that needed help with their MySpace profile. I had friends knocking on my room, like, "Hey man, can you make my MySpace page look cool? And like, how did you make that music play?" And like, "Oh, man,
Yeah.
20 plus, bam, 20 plus.
Nothing's for free, right?
Nothing, nothing. I could be, outside doing something else with my friends. If I got to stay in my room for another hour, I need at
Yeah.
least pizza or something. So my study abroad program exposed me to Latin America and exposed me to a lot of friends that I stayed in contact with, right? We stayed in contact, and I continued to come down and visit them when I had the free time, when I was working the full-time jobs at all the in-house agencies in the United States. There was one thing that I discovered. I knew that there was a lot of talent in other countries, but I knew that the market was really competitive. So I decided to move down here 7 or 8 years ago in Colombia, where I live, and I cut our prices in half. And so that's really where I'm competitive, because our quality is in most cases better than the United States. These are cultures, these are designers that come from very vibrant communities, from food to music to colors, how they even dress, to the street art that you see on the streets. Like, they know colors, they know music, they know culture, and they know food very well. So you do get a lot of impact when you're working abroad. And so basically the only way that I was able to stand up my agency was not trying to go and compete with the big agencies and try and charge the same rates. I'm very honest
Hmm.
about our rates. I save companies probably $30 to $50,000 quarter in marketing budget. So for example, a lot of the clients that come my way, let's say they have a $200,000 marketing budget, I said, I can make that 100 and you won't even see any quality suffering. Now,
That's a big
why?
promise.
It's a big promise, and it's easy to deliver
Hmm.
because it takes a fraction of the cost for living expenses. My house is
Hmm.
paid off here. It was paid off the first year I built it and moved into it. And a lot of my team, they require very minimal expenses compared to what it takes for us to live in, let's say, the UK or the United States or Canada or the broader Western world, right? So I'm able to pay them what would be a minimal salary in the United States, but here it's like it's like a six-figure salary here. Um, so that allows me to not feel like I'm cheating,
Hmm.
because everyone here is very thankful, even to the effect where some of my staff is like, "You're paying us too much." I'm like, if you only imagined how much I'd have to pay to have the same designers in the United States. So everyone's happy here, hence why we have high retention, hence why we never lose people, hence why we have more people joining Good Brand, their friends and their family members who also do that same work, because they're like, we got something good going here. As a
Hmm.
result of that, I'm able to swiftly impact a marketing manager, a creative director, a CMO's budget, and cut it in half in the course of a couple of quarters. Now, what's cool about that is two things. Depending on what level your company is at, if you have a 200K marketing budget and I cut it in half and you're doing the same amount of marketing activities and I've saved you 100K, there's two ways to look at it. I've either helped you take that money and put it somewhere else in your business, because all businesses that are growing, they always need money somewhere else, right? So it's like, damn, Seth really saved us. We didn't suffer any marketing impact, and now he saved us 100K, and now we can take it over here and work on our training and global team, and we need to be able to do whatever. Or I did something even more exciting. I doubled your marketing with performance.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I know. Well, let me explain it to you. If you're spending $200,000 in a year,
Hmm.
and you give me 100,000 and we do the same exact amount of marketing assets with 100, as
Hmm.
opposed to, you could say, let's not change the budget, because now Seth can double. So if you're doing 16 ads in the marketplace a month and 3 information videos, and that's costing you 200K, and I take that same amount of assets and I do it for 100, now it's 32 posts and it's 6 to 8 explainer videos for a price that's never changed in your marketing budget. So either you want to save money or you just want to do more with the money you're currently spending with an agency that's more expensive than me. Two ways to look at it.
So you deliver the same as other agencies that charge more, but yet you deliver the same results.
And usually at a higher quality.
Okay, awesome, great. I
Right.
really wanted to touch point on your kind of structure because you mentioned having 18 employees and then your clients basically have the potential to use all of them. Can you explain that in more detail, please, for the audience?
Yeah, and so the way that I typically explain it, I'm sure I explained it to you in the same way, but the way to explain it is like a soccer team, right? Most soccer teams, what, they have 20, 25 people on their team, right? You're only going to put 10 to 13 out on the field, in a game. Not all at the same time, a rotating cast of characters, but every game, you have a different set of pieces you're putting out on the pitch or out on the field, right? One game, let's say you're playing Bayern, you're playing Germany, and they're huge. They're taller, they're stronger, they're big, they score well, but they're big and slow. That game, you're going to put out some of your faster people because this game, we're not going to try to beat them with strength. We don't have a lot of strength. We're from Colombia, we're smaller, but we're fast, we have better football skills, right? So we're gonna put a different team on the pitch just for that one game. So if you think about a soccer game, think about it like a month. Every month, the companies come to us and say, "We're preparing for a conference. Okay. What materials do you need prepared? Well, we want to have new business cards. We need someone to help us with our booth design. We need someone to help us with our digital screens and like the presentation materials that we're going to have on our PowerPoint and all that. Cool. That's the team you get for that month. Next month, the conference went well. There's a lot of people contacting us. We want to update our website with our experience at the conference. We want to update our social media with photos of like our experience at the conference. Okay, so now you got a social media team. So for a fixed price, let's say it's $5,000 a month. Let's say it's 10. Our largest client does 90K with us a month. You have the luxury of not trying to just put all of your marketing services into a set amount of players or designers or pieces or multiple agencies. You have a bench of 18 people who have a number of different skill sets, and all of my team is multidisciplinary. I don't just have someone who just designs in Photoshop. You got to do more than that. I would say on average, out of our 18, most of our people have 3 skills or more. So let's just say three times 18, you're looking at a set of, 50 plus skills that span across a lot of things from copywriting, digital strategy, social media management, community management, brand development, brand design, all those type of things. And we still do a lot. You'd be surprised. We still do a lot of traditional. We still do a lot of traditional print, like real print,
Wow, okay.
billboard, posters, and all that. So we
I suppose
give,
it still plays an impact.
yeah, we still give companies the luxury to choose what they want to do every month. Because here's the other option. You have $40,000 a month to hire an in-house marketing team. In America, that's probably 4 or 5 people, 8 to $10,000 per person to live an average lifestyle, and that's it. That's all you get. And you got to manage the taxes. You got to hope they have the skill sets. At least 1 or 2 are going to find a better job in the year. Then you got to hire and retrain someone else. So now marketing services are slowing down. What if I told you could cut that 40,000 in half and not just have 4 people have 18? And let's just start there and see how that works. And if that keeps working, we'll get it back up to 40 and do more. But let's start off with saving you money.
So, what made you take that approach instead of the typical agency setup?
Well, there's one thing that I know about business and marketing, and I require it the same way as dating. And I'm a romantic, and I've always really appreciated dating. I'm not a serial dater. I don't date a lot. I've only had 3 serious relationships in my life, but they've all occurred the same way, which is when you identify something that you like, someone you want to date, the easier you can make it for them to date you, the higher probability they will date you. So if I want to date someone who lives in a different town, I'm going to need to have a car and I'm going to need to be able to go there. I'm going to make it easy for them. It's easier to be able to present your value first. Hey, I live in your neighborhood. We go to the same school. That's easier. If I go to a client and I say, hey, before we get into all the deep, let me just start by saying, I'm going to save you money. In fact, I'm going to save you 30 to 50% of your current budget you're spending right now. What are you currently spending right now? Now, the beauty of that first 5 minutes of that proposal is that they're not going to spend the next 45 minutes, if it's an hour meeting, thinking about what's the cost? What's the cost? Right? How many meetings do we sit in where everything sounds great, everything sounds great, and they're like, hey, there's $40,000 if you sign today, and it's like, oh my God, I sat through this whole meeting, and it was like $40,000 to start. If I would have known that, I would have never sat here for the
Yeah, I
last.
wouldn't waste my time. Yeah.
The first thing I do is say, hey, you're at the right place. Let me just start. Hey, whatever you're spending now, it's going to be 50 and half, 50 right down the middle. Now they can calm down, they can relax. Hey, mom and dad, just so you guys know, I go to school with your daughter. She plays on the soccer team. I play on the football team. We've known each other for 3 years. My family goes to the same church as your grandmother. We have the same values. I just want to see her once or twice a week. You are in safe hands. Now they can rest as a family because I've made it clear. Intentions are good. Nothing's going to change. It's only going to improve.
No, that was a great analogy. No, for sure. Obviously, I think to add to that as well is how do you start your conversations with your clients? Because I've also heard this analogy that it is a little bit like dating. On the first date, you're not going to ask somebody to marry you, are you? So it's the same thing in a business relationship. So I am curious, how do you approach first conversations with clients?
Yeah, so 80% of our business is retainer. I want everyone to be in a retainer. I want to see you again and again and again. Because when you have fixed rates, let's say it's a small um, plant company. They sell boutique plants and they can only afford $5,000 a month, right? I still want to see them 12 months out of the year. We're going to do $5,000 in services for you. So how do I start the conversation? I start off with a project. Come in and say, hey, where are you weak right now? Where are you losing money? Where could you improve? Let's just do a project. Let's agree on it. Let's agree on the budget. Oh, $1,500. We've been trying to update our website for the last 4 months. And my nephew's friend, they're web designers, but they never have time for us. I'm like, well, that's the problem. You're trying to bootstrap your company, and you're trying to get people who have availability when it's convenient for them to work on your marketing materials, but you need a dedicated resource. So let's start where the pain is first. We fix the pain. I usually try to fix the pain within 3 to 5 business days of the conversation to show them our level of speed, depending on the size of the initial engagement. I usually try to make the initial engagements rather minimal, something small that I can hit real quick, not something that takes a month or two to get through. Something that we could almost kind of do on our own, actually. Like have one meeting with them, they explain everything, and then we go off into our own little world, and we didn't have a review session. Oh my God, wow, yes, this is exactly what we wanted. Then after that, let's just be honest. I mean, look, if we're having a real podcast and we're being real about this shit, I grew up in a neighborhood where a lot of my friends sold drugs growing up. That's how they made money. It's the same thing. How do you start getting someone on your product? Hey man, here's just a little bit. Just tip this little thing, man. It's on me. Don't worry about it. It's free. It's free. They enjoy the marijuana. Wow, that's great. It's good. Yeah. Then they say, hey, we could do this every weekend if you want. Here's my price. Come back. It's the same situation. I give our services out because I think it's better to prove and demonstrate rather than talking a bunch of bullshit and just saying, oh, we're the best, we're the best. You're not always going to be the best, but what you can do is at least demonstrate what you're going to do. So what we do is we define something we can do and help with immediately. We get it done. And then we say, how did you like that experience? In most cases, they loved it. I said, well, we can provide this month in and month out, and we can do more than just this one thing we did for you. Let me introduce you to the rest of my team. Then I introduce the team, they introduce themselves, they explain what they do, and it's like, you can have this whole team at a set flat rate, so the costs aren't always going up and down. We'll manage it at an hourly commitment and time each month. If we get close to running out of time, will contact you and say, hey, this month we were doing a lot of video and you have 35 hours of time. We're at,
Mm,
do you still want us to use all this hours on video? Because if so, we're going to need 20 more hours just for this month to complete
mm.
I have done. And so most clients say, yeah, just for this month, we issue them a change order. They agree on the additional 20 more hours. And then everything goes back to normal the month after, as long as everything falls within the committed hours that we're committed to on behalf of them.
I
So,
see.
conversations with where's the pain today?
Because it changes, like you said, it fluctuates depending on what month it is,
Hey,
depending on what's currently happening in the world as well.
Jojo, look, it's just like dating.
Mm.
Talk to a girl, hey, you look down today. What's going on with you? I saw you the last couple times here at the coffee shop. You were smiling, and today you look kind of off. What's up? I'm trying to talk to my boyfriend about things, and he won't listen to me. I have all the time in the world to listen, right? So you immediately guess the current problem. What's the current problem that they're going through? I talked to a company. Hey, where are you guys? We've been trying to get this email campaign going, Seth.
Mhm.
We've hired 3 different people. Our email marketing campaign is just we just can't see. It doesn't look designed right. Our designer doesn't understand how to use MailChimp, and then we hired this other person, and then they had another. We've been trying this. Let me fix your email marketing campaign first. Let's focus on the current pain. Then we can talk about engagement, marriage, kids. Let me just focus on the first pain point, and we'll do it fast, do it swiftly, and then we go.
So, obviously, do you always find that business owners open up to you? Because like straight away diving into pain, in my opinion, it's not like realistic. Do you have a step before that you take with a client before they dive into their pain? What's not working right now?
Yeah, there's 2 types of pains that I get. It's a great question. There's 2 types of pain. Either I'm talking to the owner or the CMO or the director, and they're just coming straight out with the pain. Or like most of my clients, to say, look, you already have 3 in-house designers. Let's not fire them. I don't like to fire in-house design teams. Let us help them. Let's let the story be. We're not firing you guys, but we're going to bring Good Brand on to work with you guys because there's 18 more skills over here, 18 more skilled people who want to help you with the work that you're having difficulties with. And guess who tells me the pain? The in-house design team.
It's smart. Yep.
It always starts with the designer. Hey, it's our first thing. How's everything going? And we introduce the whole team. And then after that, I figure out who's the head honcho of the design team. Hey, can you hang on for a minute? Yeah, of course. One-on-one with me. What's really going on in-house? Where do you really need help? They're not telling me up top. They're saying everything's good up top because they don't have visibility. And as someone who's an owner of a company, I don't have a visibility to a lot of the problems going on in Good Brand until someone comes and brings it to my table. So I know these things exist. What's going on? Where do you really need us? That,
Yep.
and then
It all
and then
comes
we get
out.
because if we make the internal design team heroes, if we make them look like they have done a better job because we came and not because Good Brand came, now we don't need them. I lose everything.
Mm.
The greatest relationships is making sure that your internal resources get promotions within a year of working with them because you've made their job easier and everything's moving faster. If their life in-house is getting better, so is your checks.
Mm. I see. So you mentioned about 80% retention rate
Yeah.
currently in Good Brand. So what's the secret? Like how do you get such a obviously your approach is different from what I've seen out there, but how do you really ensure a client stays with you?
How do I ensure that they save money with me?
Stay what,
Oh,
buddy?
how do I ensure that they stay with me?
Yeah.
Flexibility.
Flexibility. Adjusting to them.
I've had clients come in with a $25,000 a month budget. Their product goes to shit and it's not performing in the market in the way that they want it to. And they got to save money and they got to go back and fix their product. And fixing products requires money. And rather than trying to fight for that budget, and they're like, Seth, hey, I know for the last 2 years, we've been spending $25,000 with you a month. This next year, we need to save as much money as possible because we got to re-engineer our product. Can you do 10K a month? I mean, I know that's a $15,000 deduction. Of course, we're here with you all the way.
It's
I took a look
probably reducing their allowance in regards to their hours and the disposal of your employees. But at the
but
same
they
time,
still
they're still getting a service.
exactly.
Are there any particular brands or niches that you like to work with, or
You know, a good brand, we say every company deserves a good brand. I can tell you some of my favorite stories, and I can tell you some of the industries where we've been most successful, but we really do try to take on anything and everything. But one of my favorite stories was one of my first clients that's still with us. It was two brothers who had one truck, two lawnmowers, and they wanted to start a lawn care business, cutting grass. They started with me 12 years ago and they were spending $1,500 with me. They were embarrassed to even bring the number up. They didn't think that they could create enough value with $1,500 a month, 1,000. 12 years later, 10 trucks, 25 employees, $1 million plus business. They're doing 20K with me a month now. We design all their vehicles. So every time I buy a new truck, we do all the wrapping around the truck. We design the radio ads because radio still works for lawn care services. You know, they're in Seattle. Door hangers, the little pamphlets that you hang on doors.
mm-hmm.
We still do about 20,000 of those. We print 20,000 of those a year for them. And after they cut someone's lawn, they put these door hangers on people's doors next to 'em. I know, and we wrote the copy. Hey, did you enjoy your neighbor's yard? I know you heard us. Did you see how good? Are you
That's
jealous?
great.
Are you
Yes.
jealous? Well, guess what?
Oh God, they know
Make
people,
your
don't
yard
they?
look just like their yard. And we could be here
Yeah,
to scan this code, schedule an appointment, and we designed the whole digital system. So when they scan that, they go straight to a scheduling app, and then their sister picks up the scheduling, schedule the meeting, and they're there next day with the same trucks in the same neighborhood cutting their lawn because there's something about jealousy when it comes
yeah.
to lawns. Everybody wants to look good.
They've clearly exploited that pain. No, that's incredible. I love that. So
Well,
obviously they've been making.
to circle back, Joe, remember, it's all about pain and emotion. Like, what are you feeling now? You see the neighbor's yard? Wow. And they did that in
Mhm.
an hour. Oh, you saw that? Hey, we can do that for you, right? And so it's either pain or a lack of achievement or a lack of abundance, or sometimes with companies, a lack of ambition. And so with us, we also try to say, you guys could do more than what you're doing. You feel like, oh, well, we don't have that much money. Well, how much money are you spending right now? $10,000 a month. And what are you doing? And then they show us what they're doing. I'm like, you're doing all this for $10,000? Oh, we can do this for five. Let's save you some money,
Mhm.
and let's do it better. So I always try to focus on that. That's not even really a sales tactic, to be honest. It feels like it. Again, it goes back to dating. Like when I say I can do something better, I mean it. It's not just win the contract. What's my product really? Let's get down to what my product really is. My product is the fact that I took a risk on myself to move to another country and build a team of resources that are most and more cost effective for your business. That's really the product, is that I took a risk. And I always tell my clients too, I'm like, look, I will cut your costs in half. If you don't believe me, I cut my own personal costs in half when I moved to Latin America. I don't even have a mortgage. I built my dream home in 1 year of income, which would have taken me 15 years in the United States. I would have had to get a mortgage. I'd have big monthly payments.
Mm.
I did it all in 1 year because I cut my own life in half and I'm living a better life. I cut my own budget in half. So if I'm saving myself money, what makes you think I can't do the same?
You're living by the example. So you mentioned earlier in our chat that you're working on making your upsells more scalable.
Yep.
So what would you say is your process for testing and refining new offers?
Yeah, I was
Because
just
let's
on
be
a
honest, you need to adjust to the market, and market is constantly changing.
yeah. Yeah. So and literally the meeting before this, which is why I was a little late. Apologies for that. Was we were doing some test campaigns, and so every industry is different. So to go back to your original question, we've found a lot of success in food and beverage, retail, startup technologies, construction, healthcare. We've really found a lot in there. But like I said before, we also do work for lawn care companies. We never thought that would be part of our thing. So when we test, I try to change software at least twice a year because software is always evolving. Go to market software. So ad campaigns, buyer campaigns. Right now, we're primarily in Meta. And I'm actually running another program from this other software that exclusively just operates in LinkedIn. So it basically acts like you and reaches out on your sales navigator as if it's you and writes to all these people that you want to contact. See, the beauty of LinkedIn is that you can search job title, where they live, what company they work for, industry basically, and you can target the specific type of person that you want to put your services in front of, which for us, chief of marketing, marketing director, founder, president, CEO, marketing coordinator, assistant marketing associate sometimes. And you're just trying to find, who's managing the budget because in all of those job titles, someone is responsible for the budget. And that's why with the video that I shared with you in our preliminary call, we just come right out with it. What if I told you I cut your budget in half, increase your speed, increase your quality, save you time? Would you be interested? And anyone who's managing a budget, anyone who's managing a marketing budget, they're going to consider that because there is no, well, not no, there's very few marketing teams in the world that are hitting all of their marketing initiatives year in and year out. And when they have that meeting with their internal team and they're like, well, what could you guys do better? How can you guys hit 60%, 70% of your goals, but how can we hit all these other things? What does most marketing professionals say in those meetings? 'Cause I used to be in those meetings all the time when I worked for Deloitte, Wyden Kennedy, all that, RGA, whatnot. What do we normally say as marketing directors or people in control of budget? Well, if we could just get a little more budget, we'd
Mm-hmm.
probably do. So if I'm the person that says you don't have to go ask for more money, let's just start by cutting it in half.
That's like the complete opposite way they thought you'd go, right? It's like a flip of the switch for them. Like, what? This sounds too good to be true.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
That's why when we previously spoke, like that's such an interesting approach. It really is. I have not seen anything like that out there yet. I think you're doing really well, clearly. I mean, your business is so successful. What is your plan in like the next I mean, to be fair, you told me in the next 10 years you have a big goal.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
let's say in the next year, do you have like a smaller goal?
Yeah. Let's do it
Yeah.
right. Let's just spill it. 12 new clients. Let me tell you how conservative our sales program is. 12 new clients in a year. 26 is the year of 12. I literally told my team this like 2 days ago. I was like, 2026 is the year of 12. They're like, why? I said, we're getting 12 new clients. We usually get more than that in a month, but we're trying to restructure our deals. So I said, we're going to keep it conservative, guys. We're going to take a lot of pressure off of, I live in the jungle, so I have visitors like moths and stuff that fly in to greet me. And sometimes
You know what? I wouldn't even notice it if you didn't point it out. Yeah, I've just seen one. That was a pretty
yeah,
big
there's
one as
one
well.
like here. I have a whole insect collection over there, and then I have a family of geckos that come in and they like climb on the wall. But that's when I leave my window open. They like to come in and
Yeah.
sit.
As
But
long as I don't see any spiders on the wall there, I think we'll be all right with the conversation.
that's part about where I live. People think Colombia, they think hot. So, I am a biologist in training. I love biology, love natural sciences. And what I've learned about spiders is spiders love hot temperatures. And I live in the mountains, so I live up in coffee country. No spiders. No,
Okay.
no snakes.
Okay.
Snakes love hot weather. So all the hot tempered creatures that we're typically scared of, they're they're like 2 hours away from me. So that was
Oh, I see. So you're quite lucky with that. So is that what I have to do? I have to live in the mountains because I like my house pretty warm. My office, everything, I like it pretty warm. So I think that's why they just crawl inside.
yeah, yeah, exactly, because they want the same thing that you want.
Yeah.
You just got to go somewhere where they would never think about ever living.
Mm-hmm. In the mountains. There we go. That's solved for me.
The movie Arachnophobia when I was a kid, and it ruined my life. I hate spiders too, so I definitely am okay without them. But what was the question we were talking about? I forgot. Damn it.
It was
We were talking.
regarding
Oh,
growth
the growth.
and
Okay,
12 new
so
clients.
here it is. Here it is. All right. Here's what I'm doing for the next 10 years, and it's rather conservative, right?
Are you going to draw for us?
Yeah.
Great. Let's see how artistic you are.
Well, I am known to have good handwriting, and that's about it that you're going to see on this diagram. So that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so let's start there, right? So 12 new clients per year. Got that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the year of 2026. At a minimum of 5K in monthly marketing services. That's our minimum now.
Mm-hmm.
We will take on more clients under the minimum, but project work, but for retainer work. So this is just retainer work, right? Minimum. So I'm going to need your help here because my brother's the numbers guy. I should know this by now because I've mapped this out so many times. So by the end of 2026, if we just get one new client a month at a minimum of 5K, and of course, you're going to get those 10Ks, you're going to get those Ks. And like I said, our largest client does 90K of services with us a month, right? We're blessed to have them.
But this is kind of like the basic. You're being very, I think,
Conservative.
realistic. Yeah, conservative. That's the word
Ultra
I'm looking for.
conservative, ultra
Yeah.
conservative. Baby, if you just marry me and we only have one child, that's better than none. Like, we're just like,
Mm,
if we end up having four because life is doing good and we can afford them, number one, afford them, then we'll
mm.
do that. Like, this is bare minimum
Bare
ground
minimum.
floor,
So
right?
one new client, retain a client a month. So that's
At
where the 12 comes
8.
from.
5 times 12 is what?
60.
All right, exactly. So 60K. So at the New Year's Eve, 2026, fireworks, outside of the clients we already have that we hope we still keep going into the next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we do a high retention. We've added $60,000 of new creative services, not for 1 month, for the year. So now those 60K times 12. What's that number?
720.
20K, and that's at the bare minimum. So that means in 1 year, we almost built a new $1 million portfolio. So if we successfully add 12 more every year, if you do 720 times 10, which is my 10-year goal before I retire, then 20 times 10, what are we talking about?
What? 20 times by 10. Well, 7,200, obviously.
$1,000 in a year times 12 years or times 10 years. So
Oh, times by
720,000.
10. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 72,000. Yeah.
What is that? $720,000 a year times 10. How much is that?
720,000
Yeah.
times
10.
by what? By 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 720,000. Am
It's
I
a
getting my
little,
maths wrong?
it's basically about essentially, yeah. Here, let me do it for you.
I think we need your brother here.
Context is just off. If we do $720,000 a year, right? $720,000 a year is for 12 clients doing
Mm-hmm.
$5,000 a month with us
Mm-hmm.
a whole year. So in 1 year, so the year of 2027, after 2026, we get 12 new clients and they're consistently spending $5,000 with us a year, or excuse me, not a year, a month, it's going to equal out to 720. So if we take that times 10 more years, okay, now we're talking about $2 million compounding on top of that's not even adding any more new clients.
I see.
What I did there? So if we add 12 new clients in 2026 and we keep them for 10 years at a minimum of $5,000 per month each, and don't even add any more new clients for the next 9 years,
Mm-hmm.
I will still make $7.2 million without doing anything else. But
Yeah.
if we continue to add 12 new clients each year, this is a $25,000 business when it's all said and done. But you also have to understand that businesses go into business, they go out of business. So we're going to lose some along the way. We're going to gain some along the way. Even if on top of what we're currently generating with our clients, if we only just add 12 new clients and keep them for the next 10 years, right? Which is, I can't say that that's actually true, to be honest. The longest client I've had is 7 years, but I don't think it's impossible to keep most of your clients because we've kept most of ours. But, we're going to lose some, or we're going to gain some.
Yeah.
But also with that considerable amount plus 5 mil we got going, right? When I'm 50, we're a 12 to $15 million business conservatively. And if I want to get out, I get out at a 3X or a minimum of 2X. That's it.
Wow, incredible plan there. And I absolutely adore, because previously when we chatted, you talked about the 10-year plan, but I love that you have your little goals as well, because I think it's very important in order to get to that main achievement that you've got. So would you say when you expand too much, you will also need to look at in-house and your current team and possibly expanding that?
Yeah, I don't want to get, I really don't. Critically, I want to see my team make more money than they're making now. I think my
Mhm.
team average is like 25, 30 hours a week. So they all could do about 10 more a week right now, which is great because they live a good lifestyle because they have a little more time on their hands. Oh, but to answer the question regarding like, I don't really want to get over 30. So if we're talking about numbers, that's 12 more people over 10 years. I've been in the mega agencies. I managed a team of 250 people. Nightmare.
Yeah.
And that was just my department. You know what I mean? I think the sweet spot is smaller. I would like,
Because otherwise it gets out of control, doesn't it? Starts to
there
get
is a
messy.
reason why they say more money, more problems. And
Yeah.
when I first heard that song when I was a kid, and when Biggie had the song "More Money, More Problems," Notorious B.I.G., rest in peace. I thought that it meant like the more money you make, the more people want your money, like your family members, and people are gonna be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
let me get some of that. Let me get some of that." And although that might be true, what it really has meant for me is more money requires more management.
Mm.
So the more employees you have, the more people you have to pay to manage them.
How
I'll
do
be
you
honest.
currently Oh, sorry, you were
I'll be honest.
listening?
I'll give you the perfect example. My house is 6 bedrooms, 5 baths. Built my dream home on 3 acres of property in a very remote location. Now, what I didn't consider is what it takes to maintain a 3 acre property.
Mm.
Because I have avocado trees, I have plantain trees, I have blueberries, I have moras. This all came naturally growing in the jungle. But if you continue to let all that fruit fall and it starts to rot, it's going to destroy your plants and the foundations around your house, is what people don't understand. So I have to spend $2,000 a month just to maintain the property, or the property will begin to destroy itself. These are the things we don't think about. The more
Yeah.
money we make, the more that we own, the more you have to manage it. As
Mhm.
good grew, as we started to make more money, my accounting team was like, we can't really manage a portfolio of this much money. And it wasn't a lot. I mean, they were just like local accountants. And we finally had our first $1 million year. And they're like, we've never really managed this much cash flow. So then what did I have to do? I had to go hire another accounting firm who
Mhm.
charges more money to manage. So as you make more money, there's more people.
Yeah, you spend more money.
So it's like the money pays the money that pays the money that pays the money. A big house, big car, big land. Well, who's going to take care of it? Especially when you're gone for 3 days out of, or 3 month or 3 weeks out of the month in Argentina or in New York or in LA dealing with clients. Who's at your house taking care of your dogs? Who's at your house taking care of
Mm,
property? Who's at your house making sure that it doesn't just die on the vine because you're traveling more than you are actually enjoying and living in your house? That costs money. That's called personnel, staff, people. So that's the true definition of more money, more profit.
and that's why you don't wanna scale past having more than 30 employees in this 10-year goal that you have. So how do you currently manage your 18 employees? Or do they manage themselves in a way?
No, I have a leadership team. So I have myself, I have 3 executive creative directors, 2 art directors, and 2 creative directors. So I have a team of 8 on leadership.
Hmm.
And then the rest just kind of fold underneath now.
Okay, I see. So you just deal with those 8 executives.
Hmm.
Okay, awesome. No, that's
To be completely
easy
honest,
enough.
of my team are contractors.
Huh, okay.
They work as needed.
Yeah.
So
How
they
do
get a,
you this leads me to another question that I've seen a lot of agency owners struggle with is how do you get a contractor that you can first of all rely on and that's going to deliver to your standard?
what do you mean by deliver to your standard?
Cuz you can have a contractor but like you obviously have standards that you want to deliver to your clients.
You
So how
mean
do you
like companies that want to pay you money, but they want to do shit work and you don't want to do shit work?
Yes. Yeah, well,
Well, there's 2 philosophies. Either you just do the shit work and collect the check, or you try to improve the quality of their work because you don't want that to tarnish your name. I'll be honest, we got clients here at Good Brand where we have tried, we have set up meetings, we have flown to them, we have done retreats where it's like, look, we can really elevate your brand. But you have to realize, especially large family-owned businesses, they've had something that's been working for them for the last 30 years or 40 years, multi-generational businesses, right? They don't want to change. I got a construction company that's not even on social media and they do more money than most companies I've ever seen. But they're 4 generations in that same town. All the brothers and sisters work there. They never left, right? Everybody knows them. And if you're going to do a commercial build, you're going to go to them. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So we try to, we could do like, we don't need that. We don't need that. And so when that type of scenario, you just do the best you can. When it comes to, and we're actually in this situation right now, one of our clients cut their budget in half, almost 50% of what they've been spending with us over the last 5 years. And we just dealt with the information because that's going to happen. And so rather than being upset with the 50% cut in spend, we just embraced it. And the way that we saw it coming, it was no surprise. We saw it coming 6 months before because our creative directors and our ECDs at Good Brand, I taught them not just to be a designer, that you're also
Mhm.
the head of the account, which means you need to have the ear of the head person of the account you represent. So what I require is every month our creative directors or ECDs have a 15, 30-minute check-in that's already on the calendar where they just check in with the buyer of the account and be like, how's everything going? How's everything looking? We're having a lot of these conversations right now
Mhm.
and the year ends. You guys spent this much money with us this year. You had this much managed services. You had this much paid advertising. Does that look about right? Or are we going to go up a little bit or go down a little bit?
Mhm.
Next? We want to always be ahead of those changes
Of course, yeah.
and to be surprised when they come.
Yeah. Planning ahead.
Yeah, we try to stay 90 days out.
I see.
3 months in the working calendar, right? And yeah, and that's about all you can really ask for companies because a lot changes in 90 days.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So do they have like a contract with you before obviously they make any changes? So it's not like
Yeah,
last minute. You can
yeah.
prepare.
So we try to do a minimum of 6 months.
Uh-huh.
We aim to get a year.
Yeah. In an ideal world.
Listen, in the ideal world, it gets even better. Like some of
Mm.
our we're like, we only do a minimum 2-year contract. I'm like, sold. 2 years sounds even better. Send it over.
Yeah.
Some companies want to send you
Yeah,
their
yeah,
legal.
yeah.
Some companies are like, we don't want to see your documentation. We have our own process. We have our own legal team. Can you commit to 2 years of services? What am I going to say? No, that's even better. But so sometimes it is like really sweet up top. But now with the bigger 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, even we have a 5-year with Microsoft. That's also interesting, especially when you're starting off. This was like more of a problem around the third or fourth year when we were just kind of maturing out of growth, where they're like, yeah, Microsoft was like, we'll sign a 5-year contract with you guys, but the payment terms are going to be net 60. I'm like, net 60? They're like, yeah, that means if we do
Every 2
work in
months.
October and we send them an invoice in October and they don't pay us till December. So that means for 2 months, I have to be the bank. I still got to pay my.
Mm,
So with larger commitments, you get payment terms that can sometimes be a bit challenging.
yeah. You need to have that piggy bank that
Yeah,
you can always go into.
it's just like dating. Hey, if you're gonna marry me, my family's gonna be at your house at least 3 or 4 times a week. That's just how we.
Mhm.
That's you're like, oh, you gotta wait. You gotta weigh all those options. It's like like
Yeah.
I thought about Microsoft for a long time because they're like, well, net 60 for small businesses is a commitment to cash flow.
Hmm.
So what I did is they were spending $40,000 with us a month in creative services. This was for Xbox, right? We're just helping them out with little stuff. I mean, they got a great internal design team, but you know, not everybody can get to everything, right? So we're helping them out. So I said, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I really got to figure out how we're gonna do this with cash flow. So I did 40 times two, which is $80,000. That's 2 months of work because we're not going to get our first check until 2 works out. Then I went to my bank and I got a line of credit, a business line of credit against it, which means I had $80,000. Well, I got $100,000. They didn't want to do 80. They said, how about 100? I said, okay, that's fine. So basically, a line of credit is not like a credit card. It's basically you have exposure to $100,000 that you want to use, and you don't get any penalties or interest unless you withdraw from it. So if I don't use the money and take it out,
Mhm.
if I don't take the money out, I don't pay percentage or penalties,
Okay.
right? So it's like, okay, cool. So I took a loan out to match the net 60 that they had.
Mhm.
Whenever we needed to pay our employees, I would take out of the line of credit, pay our employees so it didn't affect the larger cash flow bank of the business. And then when Microsoft paid us back, which would only be 30 days later, I'd only pay like 1.2% on what I took out, which was like $800. And then I just replenish it and put it back in the line of credit and it continues to live. So
Mhm.
that's one strategy in how agencies scale when they get these big contracts, but the payment terms are kind of not in your favor.
Yeah, uncertain. So, my last two questions for you, Seth. So, in regards to AI, obviously it's a huge thing. We haven't talked about it yet. Is there anything you're doing to implement AI into your business? Is there anything you're creating, anything exciting you want to mention?
Yeah, we're not developing products in AI. What we are doing, excuse me, is we're leveraging current AI products in the market to help us with ideation and design conversations. There's a lot of tools out there that could spit out like 1,000 logos if you just fill out a contact form of, not a contact form, but a description form of like, what's the name of your company, what industry are you in, what are your colors, Or you can say no colors, do whatever you like. You can present whatever you want. And then you can upload a couple of different examples of like logos you already like, and it'll just generate 1,000 logos. Now, what's cool about that is like you can just show the clients, and we're honest, like, hey, we use this AI tool to show you 1,000 different logos. We're not asking you to choose any of those logos. We're asking you to choose the ones you like because most companies that want to actually work with a design firm for logos, they want something custom. They want something that can't be replicated. And nobody wants to see their logo used by another company in the marketplace or even somewhere remotely close, right? So when we design logos, we still draw the logos, we still scan them, we still bring them in Illustrator, we still trace them. They are there logos. We help them with copywriting, trademarking, all of that. But for like an innovation tool to help generate ideas, yeah, we use AI. We're also using AI, obviously, for scheduling. And my sales program is, I'd say, 80% generated by AI organization at AI creative. What I can't say is that we're using AI to actually replace anybody who's doing creative work at our company. I don't believe in that yet.
Yeah,
Um,
you said yet.
yeah, yeah. Well, the human condition is the real thing. The human
Mm-hmm.
condition is the real thing. You know, this is the problem with online dating. I can start a profile right now, carefully curate 10 photos of all the different places I went this year: Japan, Argentina, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Chile, Peru, and just let this interesting man across 10 photos and get a lot of responses. I don't know these people, they don't know me, they just like my photos, right? So until you actually start to have a conversation and start to really get into it, the human touch is still very important in the creative and what is the creative industry. I think AI is doing a fantastic job in assisting with creative ideas, with administration and operations work, with finance. I've seen AI really do a really good job in finance as well. A lot of my friends work in wealth management and they're using a lot of like AI tools to further inform them on decisions that they should be making for their clients. But there's still someone that picks up the phone and says, hey, here's what we recommend.
Yeah.
Until the human part, until AI can say, oh, I'm going to create this for someone, but I remember they have 3 kids. And I also remember that they don't like grain. And I also remember that their grandmother really want like, until it can think like a human where it thinks about the emotion and how decisions are being made. It's just a tool to actually generate ideas to be considered.
I see. No, that's a fair approach. So, in regarding to your goal, and if let's try to dream a little bit. If you had a magic wand
Yeah, sure.
where you could either stop one thing that's slowing you down, so remove it completely, or keeping you away from that goal, what do you think it would be?
The time it takes for companies to believe that I'm not lying.
That's a good one.
The time it takes for people to believe that that it
I,
is the truth.
I told you when you told me your offer. Sounds too good to be true, and I'm sure they're at the same mindset.
Our sales cycle right now, for when we first contact a client to when they schedule a call, and then they schedule their second call to when they finally decide to spend money with me, is about 40 to 60 days right now.
Really? That's quite long, actually, 40 to 60 days. But then it's a
Some,
commitment, isn't it? Because it's 6 months as a minimum.
yeah. And some of the reasons has nothing to do with us. Like right now, we have a client that's going to start with us. Like, for example, if we're talking about my 12 clients in 2026, I already have one. January's done. I already sold my January one.
Huh.
They're going to do $30,000 with us in creative services
Wow.
starting in January. But the reason that they couldn't start sooner, even though they wanted to, is they got to spend the rest of this year firing their current agency that they've been working with. Sometimes that they don't believe me is that they believe me and they're like, well, shit, we got to figure out what we currently have going on. Again, just like dating, like I got to figure out how to get out of my current relationship. And so I say, hey, cool, no problem. You know where to find me. We'll be here in January. You do everything you need to do. Take how much time you need.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're committed to working with us, and that's it. So sometimes it's not just the fact that they don't believe what I'm saying. There's also some internal things that have to be handled.
No, absolutely fine. No.
And respectfully, because as another agency, I don't want to lose my job overnight.
Mm, yeah.
Oh, I don't want to lose my job, but they say, hey, Seth, we're giving you 60 days notice that we're going to go a different direction. I at least appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's 60 days to figure out how I'm going to replace that revenue, with new clients. So I'm never a bully. I'm never pushy. I'm never trying to get them across the line faster
Mhm.
than their own, because everyone comes from different circumstances, obviously, right? Especially with internal business. So, but yeah, if we could speed up the fact that we are who we say we are, that would be fantastic.
Mhm.
Internally, as an actual team, there's really nothing that I would change about my team. I have one of the best teams.
Yeah. No, that's great you've said that. Seth, thank you very much for this podcast.
You're welcome.